Hey there. So this is a brief movement snack, a little nourishment for your body, and it's meant to be done anywhere, anytime. So I'm wearing stretchy pants, but you don't need to be. I'm doing it in my living room, and the idea is that we can integrate these little moments of movement and self-care and body awareness, body-based awareness, into our everyday lives. So maybe this is a moment where you're taking a break from your work day or from your family. Let's get into it. So first thing we're going to do is get a little movement for our spines, the center of the body, the real core of our physicality. So with an inhalation, reach your arms wide, stretch up, lift your chest a little bit. So you're in a little bit of a back bend. If that's not great for your low back, anchor down through your legs, and you can always do less here, but focus on lifting your chest. So here's a little bit of spinal extension. From here, come out of the back bend, come to neutral, and then drop your chin toward your chest. Bend your knees and start to roll down. So rolling down toward the floor. Now you're in spinal flexion. You're just going as far down as you like. Feel free to have a generous bend in your knees. And then from here, let's roll back up. So start to tuck your pelvis under. Let your head be the last to rise. And then once you come up, inhale, reach the arms wide, stretch up again, coming into more of that spinal extension, that back bend sort of phase. And then come out of the back bend. Find neutral in your spine, just the natural curves that are there as our built-in shock absorption. Reach one arm up and over. So now we're side bending. And options here, you could keep the other arm dangling down. You could reach up and hold onto your upper arm wrist. You could interlace the fingers, all those possibilities. This is what's feeling good for me today. And then come back up through center, switch to the other side. This is a side bend. We've got spinal lateral extension on one side, lateral flexion on the other. So getting a little bit longer on one side of your torso. A little bit of compression, shortening on the other side. Good. Come up through center. Take your feet a little wider. Bend your knees. Soften at your lower body joints and swing your arms around you. And so this isn't just spinal rotation or a twist. This is also rotation through all the lower body joints. So lift the opposite heel and allow your hip, your knee, and your ankle to also turn with you. You decide. You could swing your arms through the air or really wrap them around your torso. You might hear that happening for me. I like giving myself a loving wrap around the torso there. Good. And then come back through center and roll your shoulders a few times. Super simple. See if you can tune your awareness into the movement of your shoulder blades on your back. So as though you're zooming in your mental focal point to the shoulder blades. Switch and circle the other way. Noticing the shoulder blades, maybe noticing the chest as well here, collarbones. Good. And then relax your shoulders, kind of find what feels like neutral for your shoulders. And we'll go all the way down the arms to the wrists. So now, keep your fingers extended and circle your wrists. So we did a little bit of spinal movement, flexion, extension, side bending, and rotation. And now we're going to rotate through the joints. So make fists now and circle. Notice if that feels different. Sometimes that gets into some of the forearm muscles in a different way. And then shake out through your hands. So many of us are spending a lot of time on the computer lately, so this can be really good. Articulate through your fingers. And then bring your elbows up to about shoulder height and make thumbs up signs with your hands. And then turn your thumbs back and circle your arms around. It doesn't have to be precise here, but keep the arms about at shoulder height. And this is a nice rotation for the elbow joint, and you might also feel that it gets into some of the other joints. It's multi-joint, complex movement there. Good. If you hadn't switched directions, please do. I did without telling you. And then shake and release through your arms. So just getting wiggly and releasing through from the shoulders down to the fingertips. Good. All right, let's do something for the neck. This amazing joint complex here, the upper spine. Drop your chin gently toward your chest. Keep the rest of the spine long. I'll show from the side. And then draw your chin over to the right, but still head down. So a little bit of diagonal downward flexion. And then lift your head and look over the right shoulder. And then with your chin, draw a big, slow semicircle. And only go through the range of motion here that feels right to your body. So if there's pain, do less or do different. So now you're looking over the left shoulder. Drop the chin down at a diagonal to the inside of the left shoulder. And then back through center. And now do that the other way. So first over toward the left. Notice what you feel here. So now zooming in on the sensations around the neck area. Looking over the left shoulder. And then nice and slow, that big semicircle. So I'm saying go slowly because I want you to actually be using your muscles as you rotate the neck so that you're building some muscular capacity through the neck there. Once you're looking over the right shoulder, drop to the inside of the right shoulder, and then chin straight down at the center. And now consciously lift your head. And for many of us, especially if you've been looking at a screen a lot, the head will go forward and down. So draw your head back and up, and if it's useful for you, you can even have a hand at the back of your skull and draw the skull back and up. So the chin might be a little bit more down than you're used to here. And then just notice if anything else shifted. For me, I'm always like popping my ribs forward, so you might take another hand to the xiphoid process, to the front ribs, and drop the ribs down as you draw the head back. And then again, releasing through the arms. What I always say here is, now don't be a robot. So you just kind of make it human again, even though you are still drawing your head back. Really the idea there is to set your head over the support and structure of the rest of your body. All right, so we've done wrists, elbows, shoulders, neck. Let's go to the hips. Shift your weight to one leg and lift the other foot off the floor. Feel free, this doesn't have to be a balance thing, so feel free to hold on to an object or the wall. And then internally rotate your legs, so knees in, foots out. And feel how that feels at your hip joint, so where your thigh bone meets your hip, your pelvis. And then do the opposite. So there's external rotation in the hip, knee out, foot in. And then make it a little slidey, glidey dance. Internal, external. And if it's useful, you might keep the other hand at your hip. I like to have a bend in my standing leg here. It just makes my knee feel a little bit more able to move with the movement of the lifted leg. You can see how that feels. And you could go up higher and down lower. That's all just going to be different requirements for how your muscles and joints are responding, and then maybe just different mobility possibilities there. Good, and then shake out through that leg and switch. Shift your weight over, consciously stand on the other leg. Maybe you're reaching for support. Do a little internal rotation. Notice those sensations, zooming in. A little bit of external rotation. And then, as best you can, make it slidey, glidey, so that you are turning your femur bone, your thigh bone around in the hip socket, and maybe you're going up and back down. Maybe you're exploring a certain level there. Notice if this side feels different than the other. It certainly does for me, and I'm, in my awareness of my own body, doing different things. So there's a different range of motion that's possible here without pain. Got a little something different going on with this hip and leg. So I'm just aware of that and respecting that. So if you're noticing that for yourself, awareness and respect for your own body. Good. And then shake out that leg. For knees, we're just going to do something really simple. Bend your knees, sit back a little bit, like almost like if you were doing a yoga posture, it'd almost be like chair pose. And then place your hands on your kneecaps, your patella, and circle your knees around. So you might also notice that your ankles are doing quite a bit of rotational movement here. Switch, go the other way. Good, and then pause and come down to a seated position. This could be on a chair or on the floor. And with your legs relatively straight, so if you're on a chair, you might lift and straighten your leg. Find your patella, your kneecaps, and give them a massage. And so you could do one leg at a time or both at once if both legs can be straight. This is sometimes easier to do if the legs are relaxed, so you're not using muscles to hold your legs up. So really, we're just saying hello to the muscles and the tendons that surround the knee. And sometimes those can get pretty tight and kind of pull the patella in different directions. So for some people, this makes them quite squeamish, but our kneecaps are actually meant to move. So do what you can. And then from there, let's do a little bit with the ankle joint. So if you're seated on the floor, you could bend one knee, lean back, and lift the foot up. If you're in a chair, you can just lift one leg up and circle your ankle joint. Circle your foot around. Notice that the toes will often try and help. There's nothing wrong with that. In our quick, movement snack here, we're trying to get a lot done in a little bit of time. So feel free to spread your toes and just explore some movement there. And then do some pointing and flexing of your foot. I find that especially in the morning when I first wake up, pointing my feet feels really different than later in the day. So there's a difference in how the fascia, the connective tissue, and the muscles are all arranged there at different times of the day, just in terms of what movement we've already done. Shake out through your leg and your ankle. And do the second side. Again, you're just going with the range of motion that works well for you. Going both ways, maybe feeling for how you might explore through your toes as well. We're sticking with just like kind of the big major joints of the body. We got lots of little joints on our toes as well. Shake out through that leg. Great. So take a moment, get comfortable, find some relaxed length in your spine. Let your shoulder blades rest on your back. And allow your head to be over the rest of the body so it's supported by the structure underneath it. And with your eyes open or closed, take 3 slow breaths. Imagine you're breathing into your entire body as you inhale. And releasing any unnecessary tension when you exhale. May you take this awareness and care for your body and the spaciousness of your breath into the rest of your day with you. Thanks so much for taking some time to nourish yourself and spend a moment with me. Take good care.